We're going to move to the NBA draft, and that happened a couple of days ago, and we saw big time names like Alex Sarr, Dalton Connect, Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, Rob with the shifts, Dillingham, Terrence Shannon Jr., and a bunch of other names get drafted. And we're going to go over what teams, who did they draft, and what team do I believe had a good draft, who won the drafts, who's going to be my sleeper, and we're going to talk about all of that. So, as we know, the first pick of the draft, let me go ahead and get it, was Zaccharie Risacher going to the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know how to feel about him. I don't know how to feel about the new NBA with teams trying to draft guys from France and foreign countries and bring them to the NBA and expect them to be stars. You see it with Wemby. I guess it's the Wemby effect, the Luka effect, the Jokic effect. Like, they're trying to draft guys from all over the country and, you know, try and make them be the number one player and the franchise player. And for most of it, it doesn't work. It's going to be hard to find somebody like Wemby. We knew Wemby was going to be the number one overall pick ever since he was like 15 years old. I remember in 2K, you could literally make like rosters and he was already on there. So I don't know how to personally feel about that, but we're going to have to see. The Washington Wizards drafted Alex Sarr. I feel good about that pick, actually. I didn't see nothing that impressed me, but the Washington Wizards do need a center, so he can stretch out the floor. He can block shots, so that is a good pickup for them. Now, Houston drafting Reed Sheppard from Kentucky. Now, that literally doesn't make no sense to me. What that shows me is the fact that Houston is probably going to trade somebody. Whether that is Fred VanVleet. Somebody has to go. Whether that is Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore. Both of those guys you drafted last year. And you're going to have to get like a package for a star or something. Because there's no way that you are going to draft another point guard and expect him to play unless you're getting rid of somebody. Point blank period. And yes, Reed Sheppard was good. He shot over 50% from the three-point line. But he came off of the bench. And you think that Reed Sheppard is the best college player in the country? Because clearly that's what it shows. It shows that Reed Sheppard is the best college player. And there were so many guys better than Reed Sheppard. And it doesn't make sense that the Rockets would waste that. So is he going to the G League? Is somebody getting traded? I think somebody's getting traded because this doesn't make no sense at all. You have too many guards. Too many guards to develop at that, but you just have too many guards on your team. You needed like either a stretch forward or you needed to get Donovan Clingan, put him on the bench, and develop him. But you got Reed Sheppard. It doesn't make sense to me at all. You have the San Antonio Spurs getting Stephon Castle from UConn. Very good pickup, can defend. He needs to get his shot better a little bit, but this is probably one of the best guards coming out in regards of defense. He could play defense for sure. Detroit drafted Ron Holland Jr. from G League Ignite from Dallas, Duncanville High School to be exact. High motor guy. He can run up and down the floor, can dunk the ball. He just needs to work on his shooting too. Charlotte drafted some guy from France to James Salone. I don't even know who this is, but CBS gave him a B+ rating. I don't know how to feel about these people from France. I really don't. The Portland Trail Blazers drafted Donovan Clingan. Very good pickup. Very, very, very good pickup. I expect him to do well. The Spurs drafted Rob Dillingham, but they traded the pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This might be a regret. They may regret that because I think Rob Dillingham is going to be a star in the NBA. I really do. And the fact that Minnesota's getting him and they're going to pair him up with Anthony Edwards, oh my goodness. Like, the Spurs really could have had the best draft. They really could have with Stephon Castle and Rob Dillingham. But the fact they got rid of Rob Dillingham, I'm really kind of shocked, and I'm disappointed. But that is going to be a great, great fit for Rob Dillingham, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 9, Zach Edey, Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like that was a great pickup. I'm concerned with Zach Edey in regards to the longevity of his career because we are in this new NBA where the 5 has to shoot threes, has to be able to knock down shots. You can't be an inside scorer and expect to get good minutes in the NBA. And it's so messed up because there's been so many guys that have came out of college and trying to get an NBA spot, and they don't get one because of the new NBA. But if they would have played 10 years ago, oh, they would have been dominant. Someone like an Armando Bacot has to go back to North Carolina to get the NIL money because he knows that he's not going to get drafted. Somebody like a Kofi Coburn from Illinois back in the day. If y'all don't know him, search him up. He was literally like a baby Shaq, but he doesn't get drafted. There's so many guys, and I can go on and on about it, but I am concerned about Zach Edey. I really am. It's just going to be interesting. I think he can average 12 points, 8 rebounds in his first year, but I don't know about his playing time. I really hope that he can be able to develop and doesn't get sent to the G League, because now you see these lottery players going to the G League. They don't even get time to develop at all. So, yeah, we're going to see about him. Utah drafted Cody Williams. Personally, I don't see the hype with Cody Williams. I haven't seen anything that has really stuck out to me. I don't even think that Cody Williams was the best player or the second best player on his team at Colorado. I think KJ Simpson was the best player on his team, and I think Tristan Da Silva was the best player. But Cody Williams getting drafted before them, it doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like some of these teams really just draft 18-year-old kids off of potential in regards to drafting a 22, 23-year-old player, finished product. Why don't you draft that? Because, yes, I get that the kid is 18, but he hasn't had no experience versus the 22, 23-year-old. He's had experience and he knows how to play basketball in certain situations. Somebody like Dalton Connect, who got drafted to the Lakers, who we will be talking about, I think he's better than some of these people. If you're going to sit here and tell me that Cody Williams is better than Dalton Connect, coming out of college at least, you'll be wrong. You would be wrong, but some of these teams just draft off of potential instead of drafting the finished product. And I really don't like that at all. I really don't. So then on the flip side of that, you're going to have 18-year-old kids that have the mindset of, oh, they're going to be one and done, and they're not ready to be one and done. Then the people that they hang around, they're going to tell them, hey, you need to go to the league, and they're not ready yet. So then when they get drafted, whether that's a lottery pick or just get drafted at all, they get sent to the G League, and then boom, you never hear from them again. And it's so messed up. Versus if you just stay in college for one more year, maybe one, or maybe 2 more years, you'll be better. You'll have more instincts, better game. So that way when certain situations come, you already know. You didn't play, you didn't got that experience. And it's messed up that it feels like the longer that you're in college for most players, the lower your draft stock goes. And it's messed up. And you see certain people stay in college so that way they can get the NIL money. Like I said, Armando Bacot. You got Mark Sears, who put his name in the draft. He doesn't get drafted. Well, he took it out. Coleman Hawkins took it out. John L. Davis from FAU, who now is at Arkansas with Coach K, took his name out. It's messed up. It's messed up. And I feel like those guys is better than some of the guys that got drafted. Point blank, period. But I digress. Chicago drafted Matej Buzelis from G League Ignite. The Thunder drafted Nikola Topic. And like I was saying, they're only getting younger. I don't know how he's going to be. There's so many Nikola people in the NBA, but I don't know how this person is going to be. I really don't. I don't know how he's going to fit, but we're going to have to see. The Sacramento Kings drafted Devin Carter from Providence. That's a great pickup. The Washington Wizards drafted Bub Carrington. I haven't seen him play. Miami Heat drafted Khalil Ware, the center. He actually played really good at Indiana. Go ahead and check him out. The Sixers drafted Jared McCain. I'm glad that the Lakers ain't draft him. Jared McCain is good. Don't get it twisted. But I don't know what I'm going to get out of Jared McCain. I don't. It's like one game he can shoot threes. The one game he could play make. One game he could play defense. And then one game you're not going to get nothing out of him. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to categorize Jared McCain. I really don't. But the Lakers drafted Dog Connect. That was an A+. As you see, A+. One of the best players in the SEC, if not the best player in the SEC, was dominant. Straight up dominant in March Madness. They lost to Purdue, but he was dominant in that game. Him and Zaccharie were dominant. The Magic drafted Tristan Da Silva from Colorado. Like I said, great player. Toronto drafted Kobe Walter. The Cavs drafted Jalen Tyson from Cal. New Orleans drafted Yves Messi, the center from Baylor, which is a great pickup. Denver drafted Deron Holmes from Dayton. He's a pretty good player. Now, A.J. Johnson from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, everybody talks about Bronny James and him getting drafted to the LA Lakers and LeBron having all of this control and him able to dictate the whole NBA draft and all that. First off, it's about the connections. He has the connections. LeBron is the GOAT. LeBron is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. It's not like LeBron James only averages 10 points per game and he has control of the whole NBA draft. No, LeBron has the most points in the league ever. 4-time NBA champion. Come on now. Amongst accolades. He's able to do that. He's able to put, his son on. Now, even though I feel like there are people that are better than his son, he ended up getting drafted, But even though Bronny James, should I say, only averages 4 points per game, 9 points per game, A.J. Johnson averages 2.9 points per game. I want y'all to see this. He was a first-round pick. Milwaukee spent their first-round pick on a guy that averages 2.9 points per game. He didn't go to college. Obviously, 2.9 points per game, and that's what really gets to me. You're drafting a guy based off of potential versus if you see a guy like Mark Sears, let's go ahead and go to him, from Alabama, averaging 21.5 points per game from the 2023-2024 season. You're going to sit here and tell me that A.J. Johnson is better than Mark Sears? You're out your mind. If we go to John L. Davis, he averages 18.2 points per game. These is guard. He's a 6'4 guard, 203, good build. You're going to sit here and tell me that A.J. Johnson is better than him and he gets drafted first round and he doesn't? That's what gets to me. I don't see how these NBA scouts be scouting some of these players. Now, I want to be wrong. I want A.J. Brown to have a good career. And I want all of these guys that, gets drafted to have a good career. I want to get that out the way. But the fact that, let's keep it real, John L. Davis, in my opinion, is a better player than A.J. Johnson. And he only averages 2.9 points per game, but he gets drafted. He literally gets drafted first round, 23rd pick. Are you serious? It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. That's what I don't like about the NBA draft at all. And Everybody's talking about the Bronny situation. LeBron can do that. As messed up as it is, the politics, and I hate politics. I really do. I hate it, especially with basketball, because I know the feeling. Knowing that you're better than somebody, but they end up getting picked ahead of you. I know that feeling. But LeBron is able to do that. LeBron has the power because LeBron is one of the best in the game. But let's not talk about Bronny, and let's talk about this person that only averages 2.9 points per game, but he gets drafted in the first round. Doesn't make sense to me. Keyshawn George gets drafted to the Wizards. Bacone Diadet gets drafted to the Knicks. Dylan Jones gets drafted to the Thunder. Terrence Shannon Jr. gets drafted to the Timberwolves. That's a very great pick. Like I said, the Timberwolves won. They got 2 guards. I'm really concerned about Terrence Shannon Jr. on how they're going to develop him. I think that it's easier to develop Rob Dillingham because the way that Rob Dillingham plays, he's more of a ball handler. He can shift. He can play make. I feel like Terrence Shannon Jr. is more like a Kelly Oubre. And if you need a Kelly Oubre on your team, good, pick him. But the Timberwolves, do they need that? I don't know. He needs to develop his three-point shot more. But in Illinois, he was dominant. He was exciting to watch. He was literally a one-man fast break. You get him one-man fast break, you're not stopping him at all. At all. He was fun to watch. Hopefully they develop him right because he can be a very good player. Nuggets draft Ryan Dunn. Jazz draft Isaiah Collier from USC. And the Celtics drafted Baylor Shireman from Creighton. Very good pick. And then, second round, we're just going to name some guys. You have Kyle Filipowski from Duke going to the Jazz. Tyler Smith from Houston Bush High School going to the Bucks. KJ Simpson, Colorado. You got Jamal Shead going to the Kings, but he's reportedly going to the Raptors, so I don't know. And, yeah, you see Bronny James get drafted 55th. But overall, my whole thing with the NBA draft is the fact that it's guys that we know that are better than some of these guys that get drafted. And it seems like the longer you're in college for some of these people, the lower your draft stock goes because you have to compete with somebody from France who knows that person may not even step foot on an NBA court. Who knows? Then you got people from G League Ignite. And you got organizations that want to put all their eggs on an 18-year-old kid versus somebody with experience. And it's messed up to me, if you want me to be honest with you. It really is. Like I said, I hope all of these people do great things in the NBA. I wouldn't wish bad on none of these people. It's just someone averaging 2.9 points per game. I don't see who in the right mind, whether you're sober, high, anything, would pick him in the first round as your first pick. It doesn't make sense. Somebody like Amani Bates. Who do you think is better? A.J. Johnson or Amani Bates? Who do you think is better? Amani Bates or Bronny James? Amani Bates is probably better than most of these people that got drafted. He was the number 1 player coming out of high school, went to Memphis. It didn't really pan out. Goes to Eastern Michigan, balls, gets drafted. Goes to the Cavs Summer League squad, balls out. But he's still in the G League. Still hasn't played in the NBA for real. But he's a baller. It doesn't make sense to me at all. And some of these people that do get drafted in the lottery, it's messed up, but they're going to be in the G League. They're not even going to really get a chance. It's all about fits and the system and the position that you're in. And some of these people, they're not going to get the opportunity. And it's messed up to me. It really is. But like I said, hopefully everybody does well. I think the Timberwolves did good drafting. I think the Spurs did good drafting. I think the Lakers did good drafting. I think those are like my 3 teams that I would say did good drafting. The Thunder, who knows? Because it seems like the Thunder always do good picking. So who knows? But I think the winner of this draft is probably going to be the Timberwolves. I think it's going to be the Timberwolves. So let me know what y'all think.